Hi, welcome to the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Rail Museum in Nevada City, California. Come on, let's go check it out. Located in Nevada City, California, the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Rail Museum is a fun place to learn about this unique little narrow gauge railroad within the area. So let's get into the history of the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad. The story begins in the 1850s when locals within Nevada County began calling for a railroad, and for 2 decades that call went unanswered. Due to the frustration of failing schemes to get a railroad to be built, the local populace, led by 2 brothers, John and Edward Coleman, along with prominent citizen of Nevada City, Charles Marsh, took upon themselves to build their own railroad. On March 20th, 1874, California legislation, along with Governor Newton Booth, approved the right to build and operate a 3-foot narrow gauge railroad from Colfax through Grass Valley to Nevada City. Supervised by John Kidder, who would later become the 2nd president of the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad, the construction of the road would begin in 1875 with Chinese laborers, all experienced in building railroads due to their work on the Central Pacific side of the Transcontinental Railroad. I have a 10-video playlist where I explain the full history of this railroad, including the lives of the Chinese workers. Check that playlist out if you want to learn about the Transcontinental Railroad. The new almost 22-mile railroad would start at Colfax, go underneath the Southern Pacific Railroad near Smith Flat, cross over the Bear River, pass through Grass Valley, and arrive at Nevada City. Service on the new railroad, which included passenger service, freight service, and transportation of ore from the mines, was quite successful. Despite the gold and ore coming out of the Nevada City area, not a single train was robbed. After the death of John Kidder in 1901, his wife, Sarah Kidder, became the majority owner and president of the railroad, making Sarah the first female railroad president in the world. Under her management, a new bridge was built at Bear River, which at the time was the tallest railroad bridge in the state of California. At a surface level of 200 feet above the ground and a 900 feet length, this cut 2 miles from the railroad. By 1929, the railroad was doing well enough to purchase second-hand equipment from other railroads such as the Nevada, California, Oregon, and the Southern Pacific Narrow Gauge. Despite operating well through the Great Depression thanks to the strong local mining industry, America's entry into World War II sharply declined the mining activity, with wartime restrictions on mining supplies not essential to war efforts, which halted the flow of materials to the region. The railroad would decline over time. On April 9, 1942, the line filed for permission to abandon the line, and on July 10th that year, the railroad operated its last revenue train. And it seems like the railroad is finally gone when on August 23, 1963, the Bear River Bridge was demolished by the Nevada Irrigation District for the Rollins Dam project. But my friends, this story does have a happy ending. Let's go back and talk about Nevada County Narrow Gauge Locomotive number 5. Built by the Baldwin Locomotive Works in 1875, the engine that's now known as number 5 was amongst 2 engines ordered by the Carson and Tahoe Lumber and Fluming Company. Originally known as Tahoe, it and sister engine Glenbrook hauled lumber from the shores of Lake Tahoe to the silver mines of the Comstock Lode in Nevada. In 1899, the locomotive was sold to the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad and became their number 5. It would serve the railroad until 1939, when it was declared a surplus engine. In 1942, the locomotive was sold to Frank Lloyd Productions out of Universal City, California for movie work. Its first film role was in 1942's The Spoilers, a Western starring famed Hollywood actor John Wayne. After the spoilers had wrapped, the locomotive became a prop on a Universal Studios backlot where it was featured in hundreds of movies and television shows, even occasionally filling in for larger locomotives by being in the shot when it was filmed on the Universal Studios Denver Street backlot. After its last film appearance in 1983's Twilight Zone the movie, the locomotive and other equipment on the Universal Studios backlot was donated to the group that will become the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum. Over the years, the museum evolved from an outdoor exhibit to the fun museum campus that we see today. Come on, let's go explore this place. Let's start with the indoor exhibits. Inside the main hall, the feature exhibit will usually be a piece of rolling stock. This includes coach number 52. Built for the Florence and Cripple Creek Railroad in Colorado, it's one of 3 such cars on site that represent the Nevada County Narrow Gauge passenger equipment. Another fascinating piece of railroad equipment within the building is this 3-wheel rail car produced by Fairbanks Morrison Company. Surrounding the coach are smaller exhibits, whether it's models or posters from Nevada County Narrow Gauge number 5's time on the Universal backlot. There's even a small exhibit explaining the locomotive's history on the backlot and includes pictures from its time in the spoilers with John Wayne. Nearby is an exhibit about the Kidder family, which includes John Flint Kidder, Sarah Kidder, and their only daughter, Beatrice Kidder. Surprisingly, there's also an exhibit about the aviation history within Nevada County, and this includes a plaque telling the story of Lyman Gilmore. A recluse from Grass Valley, Mr. Gilmore had always maintained that he was the first person to perform a successful powered flight in 1902, about a year before the Wright brothers did the same at Kitty Hawk, North Carolina. Outside, we see the museum's collection of rolling stock, and this includes the type of cars that would have been used on the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad and other rail lines: boxcars, flat cars, tank cars, stock cars, and cabooses. This includes West Side Lumber Company Caboose Number 1. Built in 1919 for the Swain Lumber Company of Oroville, California, this car is a great example of a caboose from a logging railroad. Other pieces of rolling stock worth highlighting is Nevada County Narrow Gauge number 142. And to explain it, we asked John Christensen, the director of the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Museum, to explain its unique history.
So this particular car came out in 1915 to the NCO, just like the coaches, and then in 28 it went to Owens Valley, part of the Southern Pacific Narrow Gauge Railroad, and it was there till 55 when it was sold to Universal Studios along with 4 Southern Pacific Narrow Gauge flat cars, and that's why it was preserved, because they had 16 of these cars down there, and all the other 15 were destroyed. And this one was saved because it went to Universal, and it was in many of the movies. Another thing about this car, it's the only car out of 200 that I know of that it has all its original hardware on it, including the wheel trucks.
Next to the 142 is Denver Rio Grande stock car 5672. One of many stock cars used by the Denver Rio Grande Western in Colorado, it was among the cars that was bought by Universal Studios for movie work on their backlot. As you can see, it has been lovingly restored to how it was built by the American Car and Foundry Company for the Rio Grande in 1904. Speaking of restoration, now it's time we focus on the shops of the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Railroad Museum, which includes the locomotives that live here at the site. Inside the shops is the pride and joy of the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Rail Museum's collection, Nevada County Narrow Gauge number 5, also known as the Tahoe. Sitting comfortably in the museum shop, this locomotive is occasionally steamed up for special events on the museum grounds and occasionally visits other railroads such as the Nevada State Rail Museum in Carson City, Nevada. Also inside the shops is passenger coach number 56. Built in 1897 by the St. Charles Car Company of St. Charles, Missouri, today the car is being restored within the shops, which includes repairing the damage the car received when a tree fell on it in 2012. Of course, our trip here to the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Rail Museum would not be complete without a ride on the Donna Jean Rail Bus. This is a great ride, which includes passing the campgrounds this railroad runs through. We'll show the video of that at a later date. And that was our time here at the Nevada County Narrow Gauge Museum. I hope you had a fun time and can't wait to go on future adventures. But until then, like, comment, and subscribe, and follow our social media platforms to see future adventures. Well, that's all the time we have here on Railroad Adventures with Kendall. See you later, folks, and may your gifts bless the world.